What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 Toyota Camry alongside the 2025 Toyota Corolla. Both of these are the SE trim levels. As tested, the Corolla right here has a base price at $24,700, and this Camry has a base price at $33,200. Now, it is worth mentioning the Camry only comes in a hybrid. This Corolla is not the hybrid. However, I've been in the hybrids, so I will talk about that during the test drive. MSRP on a hybrid is only about $2,000 more expensive. Big shout out to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing both cars for today's video. Check out their website, linked below. And let's see, is the Camry worth quite a few bucks more than a Corolla? Let's see overall how these two cars compare. Starting off with the technical information, the 2025 Toyota Corolla is going to feature a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine. This one is naturally aspirated with 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Has a CVT transmission. It is also front-wheel drive, and with a 13.2 gallon fuel tank, this can get 31 mpg in the city with 40 mpg out on the highway. For the Toyota Camry, these only come in the hybrid. This is going to be a 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine with a hybrid system. Net horsepower is going to be 225, and then the engine's torque is 163. This has an eCVT transmission. All-wheel drive is also available. This one is front-wheel drive. Has a 13-gallon fuel tank, and you're looking at 48 mpg in the city with 47 out on the highway. Moving on to the styling with the Camry and Corolla SE, you can definitely tell the family resemblance between these two sporty-looking economy cars. For the Corolla, you can tell how the front end is a lot shorter and stubbier versus the longer Toyota Camry. You have a nice set of LED headlights, very aggressive front bumper with that massive opening. So it is a good looking economy car for sure. Over on the Camry, I'd say the proportions are a bit nicer, just giving it a more premium style, but still a very bold looking car with the LED headlights and that massive front grille. They're also going to get nice sharp lines throughout the hood. And then on the side profile of the Camry, you have nice sleek body lines, dark trim throughout the windows, and then a nice lip spoiler finished off in the body color. Good looking design for the mostly LED taillights, and then just a very classy look in back. For the Corolla, once again, you can tell it's a little bit more sparse, a little bit more stubby, so you can tell it's a smaller car. So you got a nice spoiler up above with a aggressive diffuser just to give it a sporty vibe. But not bad, you can tell the resemblance, just the Camry is a bit larger with a bit more mature style. Moving on to the interior with the 2025 Toyota Corolla, I think this car is starting to get due for an update. It's starting to show its age a little bit. This is a very simple car. I do like the red accents throughout these fabric seats, just gives it a more sporty touch. We have a basic, simple black headliner. For the dashboard materials, there are some soft touch materials throughout it. And then we just have this small screen, which has all the same information that you're gonna see on all the modern Toyotas. So nothing really all too fancy with Toyota's screen. They're very functional, they get the job done. You're still gonna get CarPlay and things like that. Pretty nice HD backup camera, however, with a largest screen. And then we have just the simple climate controls, air vents. There's a plug down below with extra storage, and then just a couple drive modes, storage down below. For the steering wheel, we do have a nice black leather wrapped steering wheel, controls for the screen and audio, and then we also have cruise control, distance pacing, and lane keeping. For the gauge cluster, once again, very simple with just a small screen throughout the center. Down below, we have automatic headlights. On the door panel, we have some soft touch up above, nice padding for the armrest with contrast stitching, but overall, it's definitely a very simplistic interior. Now on to the 2025 Camry SE. This interior definitely is a lot nicer. Keep in mind, 2025 is the all-new Toyota Camry. So this has been very nicely updated. You're gonna get the soft text interior, the synthetic leather with some cool fabric, nice color accents as well, simple headliner once again. Along the door panel though, you have this really cool fabric and some soft touch materials, and then that fabric even makes its way onto the dashboard. You have some nice gloss trim leading to a very large screen, soft touch materials up above. The screen, you are going to get, honestly, the exact same information. Literally all the Toyota screens are the exact same. You do have climate control information that will pop up, however, but fundamentally, Toyota screens are all the same regardless of the screen size. So you're going to get all the basics, and then in reverse, we still have pretty much the same backup camera. Weird that they don't actually fill out the whole screen. You're still going to have physical climate controls down below just to keep it nice and simple. There's wireless charging, extra plugs, and then a lot more storage down below. Being a hybrid, you're going to get an EV drive mode as well as the standard Sport, Normal, and Eco. Larger armrest as well, and then a nice black leather wrapped steering wheel. We have all the simple controls throughout the steering wheel, and then a larger gauge cluster screen with a nice depiction. So a little bit more information, a little bit more digital, and of course higher trim levels will give you even more. But overall, this is definitely a way nicer interior. I like the materials, quite a few extra options. We have power seats in here, and this a lot more soft touch premium materials with a significantly updated design. Now sitting in the backseat with the Toyota Corolla. So this again is the smaller car. Headroom at 5'11". I have about an inch. With the driver's seat at my height, I have about an inch once again for knee room and foot room. These seats feel kind of small. They're kind of pushing me forward. And if I scoot all the way back, I really honestly don't feel that comfortable. So they're kind of small, they're kind of basic. This is definitely an economy car. This can seat 3 people back here, and in the center, you can pull that down and you're gonna get a nice armrest with cup holders. There's 2 USB ports in the center, and that's basically your only amenity. So it is definitely a small, cramped economy car back here, good enough in a pinch when needed. So sitting in the back of the Camry now, this is significantly larger. I have like 3 or 4 inches of headroom, and with the driver's seat at my height, once again, like 3 or 4 inches of footroom and legroom. This seat is a lot more comfortable. The lumbar support still isn't the best in here. I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just not quite perfect. It's fine though in terms of overall space. Both cars, you're gonna get some plastic on the door panel. For the Camry, we are gonna see air vents back here along with the 2 USBs, and then we can also pull down that center seat cushion for those armrests and cup holders. So overall, once again, this is definitely a better car. However, both cars, I wish they could work on their lumbar support. It's just not the most comfortable backseat in the world, but Camry definitely is better. Moving on to the trunk space for the Camry, this has a little over 15 cubic feet of cargo volume. It is a pretty large trunk in here. We can pull up the floor, and then underneath we're gonna get tire changing equipment with a spare tire underneath. The Corolla is actually not much smaller. It is 14 cubic feet, so only a foot smaller. We still have a lot of space, as you can tell, and when we pull up the floor in this car, just like in the Camry, you still get a spare tire with the equipment. As far as the back seats though, for the Camry, we're gonna get these pull tabs that we can manually pull to get the seats down. For the Corolla, we're gonna have to go in through the door, and there's gonna be a push tab behind these headrests. So for the Corolla, you can see how the seats are gonna fold down pretty nice and flat, and we have a small bump into the back, but a large opening into that trunk. And then moving over to the Toyota Camry, they're also gonna fold nice and flat, a little bit cleaner design as far as how the fabric is stitched. And then we have a nice opening once again. So pretty comparable overall. And then just as far as some of the basic specifications for these 2 cars, for the Toyota Camry, the overall wheelbase is gonna be 111.2 inches. The overall length is gonna be 193.5. For the Toyota Corolla, this one's wheelbase is gonna be 106.3 inches, and then the overall length is gonna be 182.5 inches. All right, so let's start off with driving in the Toyota Corolla. Now let's get the powertrain out of the way. Obviously the Camry is only offered in a hybrid, so technically I should be comparing it to a hybrid Corolla. However, Ben and them, we have videos of them if you wanna see that. Personally, the hybrid Corolla is the one to get. I'm not a fan of the normal naturally aspirated one, mainly because it is a little sluggish and you're really using the engine when you need to get up to speed. So I feel like the hybrid gives this that extra electric boost in power to be more zippy around town, and MPG is pushing 50 versus 40. So I think it's well worth it. It's only about $2,000 more. Given this isn't exactly a $5,000 car, I highly doubt $2,000 should be a make or break for someone buying a car that's already $25,000. So I would get the hybrid. I would honestly ditch the non-hybrid all day long. When you get up to speed in the non-hybrid, barely giving it gas. I mean, it goes high in the revs, and I'm just not a fan of that. I feel like you're always gonna be stressing this engine out, and just seems like a stressful car to drive given that. So hybrid wise, not a bad choice at all. So other than that, overall ride quality, I can hear the road noise a little bit. You definitely hear that. It is decently insulated from the wind, just you're gonna hear road noise in this car. Turning circle being a pretty compact car, you can easily make a 3-point turn. The backup camera is big enough, HD enough as well. So it's a very maneuverable car overall. And sitting up front now, it's pretty comfortable, I would say. We do have just manual controls, but I can get it into a good position to where my legs aren't too cramped. You have a great view around, good visibility overall. One of my complaints with driving this, there's really zero driver feedback. Now, I'm sure people buying economy cars probably don't know what that even means. As an enthusiast who likes sports cars, I want to kind of feel what the car is doing. In this car, it is quite literally basic transportation. The steering feel doesn't exist. You're just turning a steering wheel attached to a ball bearing, basically. So there's really nothing about this that lets you as the driver feel like you're controlling the car. It's just a car to get from one point to the next. So the Corolla, again, it's also a very price point car. I mean, this is a lot cheaper than the Camry option for option, which is nice to see. If these were only a couple grand apart, that'd be a clear win for the Camry. But at this price point though, I mean, it does the job. It's gonna be bulletproof reliable. It's roomy enough. The technology is simple, the buttons are simple, but a lot of people just love simplicity, especially in today's world where everything gets more and more complicated. You can just do anything. You have your CarPlay, you got air conditioning. What more do you need? So the Corolla's a fine day-to-day car, just a point A to point B car. My only other gripe is just there's nothing really special about it, I would say. I think the Corolla is kind of falling behind the times with everything else getting to the newest generations. The Camry is an all-new generation, this one isn't. So I think hopefully in the next year or two, we're gonna see a new Corolla that really takes it up a notch to be more competitive with a Honda Civic or a Hyundai Elantra. So this car definitely, I'd say, is just falling behind. Get the hybrid if you're gonna get one. Not that much more money, and it is very well worth it. And overall, it's just a good economy car, point A to point B, basic transportation. So moving on now to the Toyota Camry. So instantly, when you hop in this car, it is a significantly nicer car. Now the pricing honestly makes a lot of sense. This is not exactly $1,000 more expensive. This is a good chunk more to where you may or may not be cross-shopping these because you're probably in a different price category if you're looking at one or the other. This car though, you can get, low 30s, and the Corolla you can get over 30 as well. So you could get them at the same price point. I think the Camry definitely is going to be probably the better value overall. So a little bit more basic Camry versus a top trim Corolla. But looking at these two with a $6,000 to $8,000 price discrepancy, depending on how you spec them, this is a lot nicer of a car. I will say the Corolla's seats are more comfortable. These are a little on the stiff side, which I've noticed with the Camry in general. Seats are just a little stiff. The Corolla, you really sink into them. These feel a little short on the bases, where the Corollas feel like they hug my legs a little bit better. Now, when we get up to speed, the torque from the electric system is a lot nicer. I don't feel or hear the engine stressing at all, and we're zipping up to speed. That's the acceleration you're gonna also see in a hybrid Corolla, to where I am such a big fan of the hybrid systems in cars like this. They are just so much better. So I know maybe not everyone wants a hybrid, but it is just a better driving experience by far. So personally, again, hybrid all the way. Now the steering is a lot heavier feeling. It feels more like I'm driving a substantial car versus kind of an economy box. So I feel like I really like how the Camry just feels like a higher quality car. Wow, the turning circle isn't even remotely on the same level. That cannot do the same three-point turn that the Corolla can. So that is nice to see how maneuverable the smaller Corolla is. But getting up to speed in this car now, it is just such an effortless, smooth power delivery. You still hear some of the road noise. It is a lot quieter though. There's a much more solid feeling of the way this car is put together, even just closing the doors, just the overall ambiance that you hear when you're driving this car. This is a significantly more put together car, I would say. You don't really hear any wind noise at all. The seats, aside from being a little stiff, this is a very comfortable car in general. The armrests are a bit nicer too. Using the interior, this feels so much more premium. This is a significantly better car by far. So I think it's well worth the price difference. If you can swing a Camry, get a Camry for sure. And I like the SE trim levels. I don't think you need to go to a top trim XSE or an XLE. Don't spend over 40 grand on one of these. This car, mid 30s, you literally have pretty much everything that the top trim is gonna have. So I would get a mid $30,000 Camry all day long for a day-to-day economy car. It's not that much more expensive than a high-spec Corolla, but you're getting a very nice car at the end of the day. You're gonna drive this and you're not gonna see any compromises. In the Corolla, there's a lot of compromises. It is a economy car. This is a very nice economic car, I would say. So already by far, this is just a much better car. So I think at the end of the day, if you are looking for a reliable, affordable economy car, point A to point B, the Corolla could be a really good choice. I would say either get a stripped down base model one with 0 options, or just get a basic hybrid version if you want the MPG and a better zippy drive around town. However, if you are looking to spend maybe like 5 grand more, if you can swing it, and you want something that's gonna be a very nice family sedan, something that you're gonna really much enjoy driving and being behind the wheel, the Camry takes it up to that next step to where I mean, this, I could see a CEO making six figures buying this as the daily driver, even though they could afford a $100,000 car. This is something that, you know, a top earner could buy and really like to own. The Corolla is probably not going to go to the same demographic. That's probably more for a first-time car or just kind of a cheap car to get places. So after driving in the 2025 Toyota Camry and the 2025 Toyota Corolla, once again, the hybrid Corolla would be the way to go, just to give you the zippy power that you're going to find in a Camry since they only come in a hybrid form. Corolla's fallen a little bit behind. I feel like it's just kind of a basic economy car these days. I would really like to see an all-new version that could be more on par with a Camry, but at the more affordable price point. So as of right now, for 2025 at least, Camry I would say is a much better car. It's worth the extra bucks. Get a base model Camry if you can swing it, or get a mid-level equipped one, and you're just gonna get a really good car at the end of the day without realistically spending that much more than even a mid-level trim level for the Toyota Corolla. But there's what my thoughts are for these two cars. Comment below, what do you think? Are you also waiting for a new Corolla to really be that perfect budget Camry? I think that's what I'm kind of waiting for. That is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content, and then a big shout out once again to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing these two cars for today's video. Check their website, link below, and I'll see you all in the next video.